Yes, it's time for us to toot our horns. And we hope that you can open up your door, open up your hearts, and put on that TV screens and let the sunshine in. For it's another beautiful day to keep your face towards the sunshine, and the shadows will fall behind you. We're glad to have you on this thrilling episode of your favorite breakfast show on Nigerian television. Come with us and let's ride on the bright side of the morning. It is Wake Up Nigeria! Yay! Yes, and as always, we are bringing you a fabulous show filled with awesome conversations, incredible performances, and of course, sumptuous kitchen delights. The anchors, of course, extraordinary. The chef, master of the kitchen. You, the viewer, absolutely wonderful. Thanks for joining us once again this morning. Tuesdays come second on the day of the week, but right here, you come first. And as always, we're here to ensure that your day starts with the right amount of carbs, zest, and vibes. We've prepared you for in the next 2 hours of top-notch entertainment we have right here for you. So buckle up, relax, and enjoy the ride. My name is Emem Email Koche. And of course, you can catch us live on GOTV channel 16 and UHF 49. Do not forget to send in those comments, people. We're across all social media platforms. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. You want to catch up on some of our previous episodes? Maybe you missed out on any of them last week. Well, you can go right on YouTube and binge on them. We're also live on YouTube at TVC Entertainment. Let's dive right into what we have on the show for you today. As always, in the kitchen, as always, we have that savory vibe that we bring to your culinary experience every episode on the show. Today we have Chef Chiamaka, and she'll be joining us later on. And for a divine musical experience this morning, we present an Islamic artist, Queen Rashidat Ajike Orin. She'll be serenading us with her melodious vocals later on. And on relationship this morning, we have Didi Edits. She's a certified award-winning dating coach with a matchmaking certification from the United States. And this morning, we will be discussing quite an interesting topic, as always, on relationships. For entertainment news this morning, Zainab will be giving us all the deets in the entertainment world later on. And finally, we have a thespian who will be joining us in the house, Tosing Adi. She's also a Nigerian actor, director, producer, and a co-partner of B-Rated Productions. Her directorial debut titled The X Chromosomes was staged at her culture in 2021. And well, she'll be here to share her journey with us so far and her latest project, Therapy. We have quite an interesting lineup this morning. Are you ready? Let's get set and go! The weather is up next, people.
Hello and good morning. It's time for a news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Titilayo Oyinson. Thank you for joining us. The political crisis in Rivers State has taken a new turn as the House of Assembly issues notice of gross misconduct against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu. This latest move is perceived as a significant step in the speculated efforts by aggrieved lawmakers to initiate impeachment proceedings against the governor. Details come in this report.
The power tussle between the legislature and the executive is showing no sign of abating, as the House seems to have been pushed to its limit. Speaker Martin Amehule read on the floor of the House a notice sent to him from 26 lawmakers containing allegations of gross misconduct against the governor. Among the listed infractions are unauthorized expenditure of state funds without an appropriation law and deliberate obstruction of the House of Assembly from executing its legislative duties. With lawmakers resolute in their intention to investigate and act on these allegations, Governor Siminalayi Fubara faces yet another challenge to completing his first term in office.
With reference to acts of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS. Distinguished colleagues, I informed you that I received this particular document and that I have forwarded same to all members in line with Section 188 sub 3, which makes it mandatory for me to forward the document to all members, and I've sent all copies.
Other indictments contained in the notice are the appointment of government officials without satisfying the constitutional requirements of screening and confirmation by the House of Assembly. The lawmakers listed the seizure of their salaries and that of the clerk of the House. They resolved to convey the notices to the government house through the media due to a breakdown in communication between both arms of government.
This House has therefore resolved that the clerk will publish in at least 3 national dailies the notice of allegations of gross misconduct brought pursuant to Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1999 in reference to acts of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the governor by His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State.
In a related development, the House, through a unanimous resolution, petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate the Secretary to the State Government, Tami Danagogo, over allegations of unauthorized spending of state funds.
The High Court of Lagos State has reserved judgment in the suit filed by the reinstated Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, who is challenging the legality of the 13th of January 2025 proceeding that led to his initial removal. Justice Yetunde Pinheiro also heard several preliminary objections by various counsel representing the defendants and said the date to deliver the judgment and rulings will be communicated to parties in due course. Professor Joshua Olatoke, SAN, who represents the claimant, Mr. Obasa, prayed the court to assume jurisdiction to hear the matter. He argues that the House was on recess at the time the lawmakers convened illegally without duly informing either the Speaker or the Majority Leader, who have the powers to reconvene any session during recess. But Femi Falana, SAN, whose legal authority to represent the House of Assembly was earlier affirmed by the court on Monday, opposed the suit brought by way of originating summons. He said the later proceedings, 3rd of March, which saw the re-election of Mr. Obasa as Speaker, had overtaken the earlier proceedings. And now for some sports updates. 6 more players arrived the camp of the Super Eagles on Monday night to increase the number of players in camp to 12. Simon Moses, Victor Boniface, Raphael Onyedika, Jordan Torniaga, Stanley Nwabali, Samuel Chukwueze were the new arrivals. The players were received personally by head coach Eric Shelley and members of the technical crew. Bright Osai, Samuel and Igo Ogbu were among players expected to hit camp in Kigali by midnight as head coach Shelley looks to kick off the first training session with the entire squad this Tuesday. Now the Super Eagles will be up against the Amvubi in a matchday 5 encounter at the...
So, very honored to be mentioned among 31. Yeah, I think 31 players. It was quite surprising. I mean, I knew it was coming because, I mean, I've been doing pretty well and I was hoping it would come, and it did come. And I felt like a winner already, even if I already had it at the back of my mind that even if I didn't get to make the final 23, that I've done something, I've achieved something. And being in the final 23 also was, yeah, I just feel really blessed and I was very grateful. It means a lot. It's one of the best things that can happen to a football player, getting the opportunity to represent your country, to play. I mean, as a kid, you always watched the national legend.
And that's all we can take on news and sports for this hour. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. There's still much more. Stay with us.
Morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government that will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini, I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
World Kidney Day, of course, is to raise awareness for the conditions that impact our kidneys. The 2 main causes of kidney failure are hypertension and diabetes. So, of course, checking blood pressure, especially for Africans, is very important, and keeping blood sugar down as well. So we're here, and really prevention is better than cure. The cost of dialysis and drugs, considering the exchange rate devaluation now, is extremely high. So prevention is even more important now than it used to be over the last few years. And of course, we continue to raise awareness, raise money, continue to support patients with drugs, and working towards dialysis and even kidney transplantation, etc. Kidney Foundation for Africa was founded in 2009 by Dr. Bosede Peters. She had kidney failure, and after her transplant, she founded the foundation to basically raise awareness, educate people, and also care for post-kidney transplant patients with medication, counseling, etc. And so we've been out here now for over 20 years or so doing this good work. And yes, this is the walk for Kidney Foundation for Africa 2025.
The kidney is very important in our body because we also need our kidney because they're also part and purpose of our body. We need them, and I also think we need to take lots of water to keep our kidneys intact.
More or less like our social responsibility to the society. The World Kidney Day needs to be celebrated, and we have a lot of people who are either mentally sick or have kidney issues or anything. So we need to collaborate in order for us to extend hand of fellowship.
I'm just participating for the first time, and I do realize the imperative of bringing much of what is being said here today, to mind. That many of us have these things on the fringe of our minds. We know that we are supposed to live responsibly, we should be more sensitive, to keeping ourselves healthy. Theoretically, we know, and very many times we think we can do it anytime. That I'll do it soon. I'm going to reduce my weight soon. I'm going to get more serious with exercises soon. I'm going to cut down on on salt very soon, and so on and so forth. But it needs an initiative like this, to actually make us realize how imperative, the actions are.
This year, we are partnering with the Society of Nigerian Artists Lagos branch because in the past, shall we say 24 months, they've lost quite a few artists. Kidney failure, a stroke here. So we need to rediscover the right lifestyle for life, longevity. Because I say one thing, yes, a car can knock you down. They say something must kill somebody. A car can knock you down. But if you are alive, the quality of your life must be enjoyable. Okay, if you are alive, you must say the quality of life must be there. And therefore, it's good to make people aware that the kidneys are very important.
Yay. Indeed. Yeah. World Kidney Day there.
That was, it's usually commemorated on the 13th of March every year. And this year, the theme for this year is prioritizing early detection for healthy kidneys. So they're saying that it's important for you to go do your early checks for your kidney.
That was actually organized by Adam and Eve.
Yes.
And I think that's quite commendable.
Yeah, very.
So the question going around now is, are your kidneys okay?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's not a conversation people bring up much.
Right.
Nobody's like, oh, how are your kidneys? It's not, you know, there's some things you ask about, but nobody ever asks about that. And we actually don't understand how important the kidneys are. And the fact that, you know, well, God is so wonderful. God made it possible for people to survive with just one. So if you are conscious about your kidneys and understand how to look after your body a little bit better, maybe you might be saving a life of someone else you know as well one day.
Absolutely.
You know, so World Kidney Day, thank you to Adam and Eve for putting that walk together, and hopefully it's spreading the right amount of awareness.
Right.
Yeah. And then good morning, Mary.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm
good morning.
How are your kidneys?
My kidneys are doing well.
You see how random it is? It just feels so random.
So I intend to get a, you know, KFT done soon. So hopefully I can be on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I asked that just to put it in context that it's not a question we ask all the time.
Yeah.
But it's great to see you, Mary.
I actually realized that people who drink ask themselves that a lot. I've heard them ask one another, how are your kidneys? And it's kind of like a
Titi
joke. I don't know the inside joke.
Yeah.
What?
Titi feels called Mary.
No. Oh, no. No, I didn't mean it that way.
So I've recently made the switch to Zobo tea as opposed to coffee because I don't know, you know, Mike and even Mazina back in the day used to call my coffee really strong.
It takes everything hard.
Yeah, really. Wow, really. So I had to switch up to Zobo tea because of a recent health check where my doctor was like, your body is telling you something. If you like, don't listen. You know, and it's just one of those conscious things. You're not actually just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your family, for your loved ones.
Yeah, there's some of the signs that we need to pay attention to, and that is water retention in our body. So, for example, if you're having a part of your body is swollen, especially your feet, you need to go for a check. It's a sign, and it's telling you to go for a check. And we always like to delay some of this. You know, we see the signs of, I'm tired. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I don't. But thankfully, we have NGOs now that are, you know, organizing events like what Adam and Eve has done with tests. You know, where you can get your tests done, do these checkups, and you know, and just to ensure that you know you're okay. And if there are any signs, or if you know whatever we got, which also depends on whatever the tests say, you can go to a hospital and you know get it done. There are a lot of general hospitals because people come and say, oh, it's expensive. General hospitals are
it's just the queues.
Many ailments can actually be fixed if detected earlier.
Right.
And that's why two things people should never play with are their KFT and LFT. That's kidney function test and liver function test.
True.
Listen, getting those tests done at least annually will save you a lot in future.
There's also something else that can save you a lot.
What?
When you get to a supermarket, for instance, don't go into the snack aisle, but go into the fruits and vegetables aisle first and spend a larger amount of your budget on
the challenge
healthier
with that
veggies.
Is you could buy it, does not guarantee you would eat it. It's one thing to buy fruits and vegetables.
If you spend most of your budget on it, you eat it too.
No. So it's important to find ways that you would find them interesting to consume. Put them in areas of the house that when you want to reach for a snack, you find yourself touching grapes or carrots instead. But if you don't do that, your snacking game has just begun.
I was actually doing what I could to segue into something we saw on online yesterday, but we will have to wrap it up here. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But add some herbs, some fruits, leafy vegetables to your diet, and you might be keeping that doctor's appointment a bit further away.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think this is also a reminder to go get your kidney checked.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, if you haven't done any of the tests, there's a lot of information online. You know, go do your research, and most importantly, try and see your doctor and see how you can get your kidney checked.
Okay. So yeah, when you get to your office today, ask your colleague, are your kidneys okay?
Yeah.
Hopefully you end up alive.
We'll take a quick break at this point. We will be back after this.
I'm Lunge. I'm a
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, at #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
All right, then, it's time for our relationship conversation, and we welcome back the amazing Didi Edit. Now, she is matchmaker Didi online, and she has at least 7 years experience working as a certified award-winning dating coach in Nigeria. And yeah, she got a matchmaking certification from the United States. So she is the perfect person to talk about dating in the Jackpot era. So does this actually work, or is this just a delayed breakup? It's great to have you back on Wake Up Nigeria.
Glad to be here.
All right, so the Jackpot era, let's break down what the Jackpot era actually means.
Exactly.
For those that don't understand.
Yeah, okay, so Jackpot is the mass migration, right, of Nigerians for academic, social, other opportunities.
Yeah.
So, so wondering if relationships can be sustained over distance.
Long distance. So the long distance relationship for me is Ikorodu to VI. That's long distance for me, to be honest. And I'm like, okay, man, this is not working. But there are some, I find them inspiring couples who have made it work over time and space.
Yeah.
But when it comes to time zones, for instance,
exactly,
you're talking
it's
Canada, US, and you're here, and the person you love or the person you're in a relationship with is asleep, essentially, when you're awake.
Exactly.
How do you make it work? So what sort of advice do you give your clients in this situation?
Well, most of my clients are single, coming to date, so it's a bit easier because they would come up front with the idea of like, I mean, the romantic question, you know, where is this going, has changed to, are you going somewhere? You know, because they want to know ahead of time if you have plans to move.
Sure.
But then the ones in actual relationships that do move and then have to sustain that relationship, there's a lot of pressure. Like you said, time zone.
Yeah.
You now have to have like Zoom calls and, you know, WhatsApp
calls.
video. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure in relationships. You can't spontaneously just go over to the person and hang out.
Yeah.
Everything has to be pre-planned.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Not a lot of relationships survive that.
So now, the average relationship that hasn't got long distance involved, there is a need for companionship, physical companionship,
Exactly.
emotional companionship, even sometimes just even intellectual inspiration. You want your partner to sort of bounce off you with ideas, etc., etc.
Exactly.
So it does feel like the distance takes away a lot from the relationship.
It does, because like you said, you come back from work, you want to talk to your partner about how your day went, but then they're in a different time zone. It's bedtime for them. Who do you talk to? It does take a lot. So people that are able to maintain that level of, you know, the relationship, I don't know, I really give them kudos because it's really hard, you know.
I'm thinking about the issue of it being a delayed breakup. Why is this, why exactly does it, I won't say have to lead to that. What are all the indicators leading to that?
Oh, well, to be honest, it might be easier for couples that have been together longer, but if it's a new relationship, it's going to be really hard to, you know, bit of the pressure because you haven't had that much pressure in your relationship yet.
Yeah.
So having to do the different time zone, at a point in time, is going to be tiring. I mean, your birthday, they can't even bring a cake and surprise you anymore.
They can do it online. They can order one online. They can.
When you call
deliver to the office.
When you call to say thank you, the person might be asleep. Time zone. It's not the same. So it might eventually lead to a breakup, you know, if it's not a strong relationship.
I kind of feel like you've had an experience with the long distance relationship from the way you're making it seem, you're making it sound. Because I feel like there is a lot of determination with young couples now, especially since one partner going abroad is sort of financially securing the other partner.
Well, if finances is the main issue, then maybe. Because my experience with long distance relationship, was just mostly the person being far from me. So we would see maybe once every 3 months. Slowly over time, the distance gets further.
Okay.
Even if it's the same distance, but it gets further because you hardly talk. Person is traveling, so time difference. At some point, you don't even know when it just breaks down. It just goes.
I'm rooting for the intentional couples right now, and I'm hoping that Didi can give us some tips. And I'm not saying us, I'm not in the long distance. I mean, give some tips to those couples who are probably going through this right now. What are their options? What can they do to be a little more intentional about keeping the relationship alive? And then at what point, right, do they, if it isn't working, call it quits?
I'm not even sure you know the point where you call it quits, because if not, I would have known in mine, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you know the point, but there has to be, like you said, intentional effort. So like the video calls, maybe keeping a schedule, like, okay, do you know what, every time at this particular time we speak, you know, we can't break that. We have to talk at this time. Then making just really intentional efforts to just make sure that you keep in touch, maybe about certain events, birthdays, all those things would just definitely, you know, force you to.
So obviously there is an elephant in the room or in that space, intimacy. So how do couples in long-distance relationships begin to establish intimacy over distance? What are the options?
Well, hopefully finances is not an issue. Like with Burna Boy and Chloe and with their quote-unquote relationship.
Yeah.
If you can fly in regularly to see the person and still go back for work, then it works out for you.
This is a financial matter.
If finance is not the issue, then yeah, regular, flying in and out.
Okay.
And, yeah, that would help, definitely.
So you're not for the whole video calls?
I mean, that's an option. I don't know how many people it works for, but that's an option that could be. Yeah, but I don't think it can compare to the
Actual
physical
interaction.
Yeah,
of course, always. But I've noted over time that as the Jackpot era is, there is that hope that because of technology bringing us closer, it's not as long. Distance is just it's
mindset now at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's a mindset. Because I feel like there are some couples that are in the same state, in fact, in the same compound,
And
same house.
long distance, right?
And they're in long distance relationships. They hardly see each other. Why?
Yeah, actually,
because there's
yeah.
the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And they get home and they're exhausted.
Exactly.
They fall asleep. They wake up in the morning. They're out again at 5 a.m. So in the
So
end,
there's
a
really
lot
no
of
time to really talk.
Exactly.
In fact, long distance partners might have even more time to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're on the phone a lot more.
Intimacy is even worse then because you're both tired. So
yeah.
When is the time for intimacy?
So that's what I'm saying. It's like
that makes it worse
Mm.
because it's almost like you're together physically, but now someone's going to try and blame somebody for not being intimate.
Yeah.
When both of you are, like you said, tired, coming from 9 to 5, then you've gone through traffic.
Yeah.
Got
You're
home at what
exhausted.
time?
Exactly.
You have to wake up the next morning. I mean, something has to suffer.
The conversations that happen with couples that are trying to maintain a long distance relationship and the conversations that happen with couples that are right there in the house together.
True.
Those conversations in the house together or in a closer space are usually about bills, about struggles, about how terrible my boss was to me or whatever. But those long distance conversations
are still the same.
They're a lot deeper, don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it that way, those long distance might even have a better chance than the ones within the same, because it's almost like we're in the same space, but why is this not working?
Yeah.
Why are we not seeing each other? There's no excuse.
And then you find out that, okay, maybe that relationship wasn't actually meant to be.
Yeah.
What sort of conversations do you have with clients who want to date someone that is abroad?
Oh, well, one person usually tries to relocate, to be honest.
Okay.
Like most of our recent couples, one person did relocate.
Okay.
Nobody really stayed in their separate locations. So
it was intentional.
Yeah.
Just relocate and move with his partner.
Even though I don't think that was their initial plan, but eventually I think they both just discussed and then thinking, oh, for this to work. Because in a relationship, you talk about stuff like, do you know what, whose job is better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who should move where? Even if one person has to move to Abuja, one is in Lagos. You discuss for what's better for both of you.
Sure.
And then, make that decision. So, yeah.
So with the question of, is it a delayed breakup? It doesn't actually have to be a delayed breakup. It's just going to be a lot more work. Yeah, honestly. And our matchmaker Didi is someone that when we have a conversation with her, we know that she's had exposure to so many different types of people with different types of mindsets.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because this was something I read online. I don't know if it was true or not. I read about a particular lady that said she was looking for a guy that doesn't need to see her more than once or twice a month.
Makes sense.
How have you ever heard that kind of thing?
Oh, yes.
She doesn't
like they're working
Wow.
like too much. Like you literally have to leave home at 5 a.m. And she doesn't get home till like really late 10. So someone that expects to see her a lot, it wouldn't work.
Wow.
It wouldn't work.
There are actually people like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole Grey's Anatomy, when you see people work shifts back to back.
Yeah.
That's some people's reality. So,
wow.
They're like, when you're coming, come with this notion.
That's
otherwise, it won't work.
Wow.
Because otherwise, you start complaining, I don't see you all the time. We don't talk. So come with the notion that you wouldn't really see me a lot. you know.
I really don't think I could do your job, to be honest. Matchmaking human beings. Probably matchmaking puppies would be easier. But I have to say, it is a conversation that's ongoing. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Long distance, is it just a delayed breakup? Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a break coming your way and so much more on Wake Up Nigeria.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take.
I choose
to close the show. Ladies and gentlemen, #1 Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah, but do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better useless of what's his name?
That woman.
Damn!
Yeah,
today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
All right, it's time for a musical performance this morning, and we have Queen Rashidat in the building. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning. Safe to say your name is Rashidat?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the Queen was added?
Yeah, of course.
Why was it added?
It was added. My fan gave it to me. So.
Oh, nice, nice. So what kind of music do you do?
I do Islamic music.
Islamic music?
Yeah.
Okay, now with Ramadan upon us and all, what's kind of, you know, I keep hearing that when it comes to Islamic songs, there are actually ways you have to portray the songs.
Absolutely.
How do you manage with that? Because I'm pretty sure you listen to other kinds of music. Do you sometimes feel the need to influence your Islamic songs?
Yeah, of course. Islamic music is a nice music, and this Ramadan period is the very best time for us to bring it out, for people to know Islam is beautiful. And with my sonorous voice, I can come out and bring out a lot of things. In Ramadan. Ramadan is the best month for us with Islam, so we are go-getters.
So your song, Rotting Me, that's what you're performing.
Yeah.
What is it about? Yeah,
it's a prayer music. Mostly in Ramadan period, we pray. So it's basically on prayers. Rotting Me means God remind me. Remember me, rather. Remember me in your grace, in your mercy. So that's what it speaks about.
So, Queen Rashidat.
Yeah.
Rotimi, we can't wait to hear it.
Fine,
Take it away.
Thank you, Mom.
It is time for entertainment news, and we're starting off with Ashake's alleged baby mama opens up about their past relationship. Adijat, a woman claiming to be the mother of Nigerian singer Ashake's 11-year-old daughter, Zinat, has spoken out about her past relationship with the artist. Now, in an interview, Adijat revealed that she financially supported Ashake during his early years, sending him money while he studied in Osun State. She also mentioned that Ashake's father played a role in helping her care for their daughter and encourage communication between the two. However, Adijat stated that after Ashake completed his studies and moved to Lekki, their relationship changed. She claimed that he began ignoring her calls and stopped communicating altogether. Now, in an attempt to resolve the situation, Adijat said she had her mother contact Ashake, but he reportedly accused her of trying to manipulate him and even threatened to block her on all platforms. Adijat expressed her heartbreak over Ashake's response, reflecting on the years she invested in their relationship. Now, moving on, we'll look at Rema slams Illuminati rumors, expresses concern over Nigerians' challenges. Nigerian Afrobeat star Rema has addressed damaging rumors linking him to Illuminati, devil worship, and even blood drinking. In a recent Rolling Stone interview, the Maven Records artist described the claims as baseless and revealed they have led to a loss of fans who believe the false stories. Rema expressed frustration over the impact of these rumors, noting that some fans blindly accept what they see online. Random stories have been made up about me, and I lose fans who just believe anything. End of quote, he said. The singer also spoke emotionally about the pendant he wears, which serve as a tribute to his late father and brother, helping him stay grounded amid the chaos of fame. In addition to personal challenges, Rema shared concerns about Nigeria's future, expressing his worry that many citizens are losing hope. However, he remains determined to stay optimistic and contribute positively to the country's development. Now let's look at Kanye West threatens legal battle with Kim over song featuring North. Kanye West has escalated his public feud with ex-wife Kim Kardashian, threatening legal action over the release of his new song, Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, which features the 11-year-old daughter, Northwest. The track, which also includes rapper Sean Diddy Combs, debuted on West's X account, sparking backlash from Kim, who reportedly attempted to block its release. She allegedly sent cease and desist letters and requested an emergency hearing, citing concerns over North's involvement. Despite initial discussions to delay the song, Kanye went ahead with the public release. And now, in a heated exchange, West posted and later deleted a screenshot of text messages with Kim in which he threatened to, quote, go to war over the trademark use of their daughter's name. The former Mrs. West, in return, reportedly insisted she holds the copyright and has taken legal steps to protect North from being associated with the song. Now, sources say North recently joined her father in the studio to record her vocals, with West promising it will lead to a revival of his Sunday service. The incident marks another chapter in the ongoing public fallout between the former couple who share 4 children. Now, in a related story, let's look at Sean Diddy Combs pleads not guilty to superseding indictment. Sean Diddy Combs has pleaded not guilty to 3 federal charges: sex trafficking, transportation for prostitution, and racketeering conspiracy during a pretrial hearing in Manhattan on Friday, 14th March 2025. The charges stem from a superseding indictment that also includes additional racketeering allegations. Combs is currently being held at a federal detention center in New York City, with jury selection for his trial scheduled for May 5th and opening statements set for May 12th. Prosecutors accuse Combs of coercing women into sex acts, often drugged, during events known as quote-unquote freak-offs. He allegedly recorded these acts and used threats and promises of career advancement to control the victims. The indictment also includes allegations of violent behavior, including kidnapping. At the hearing, Combs' attorneys challenged a 2016 surveillance video showing him allegedly assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, which was aired in May 2023. They argued the video was misleading. The judge suggested slowing the video down or adding context to address concerns, encouraging both sides to reach a compromise. We have come to the end of entertainment news for today. Join us next week for another amazing entertainment news here. My name is Zainab. So until next time, bye-bye.
Great things are worth waiting for.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Eje can close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, at number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Check it out.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Damn! Damn!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Yeah, the music is playing in my head, other than the background music. Welcome, guys. Welcome back, guys. We are glad to have you back. And if you have just joined us, you have missed a fantastic first hour of the show. But don't worry, there's still so much more in store for you. Yeah, we're still here to brighten your Tuesday morning, as always, with engaging conversations, entertainment, and of course, some talking about finger licking delights this morning. Unfortunately, our chef couldn't make it. Chef Chamaka is supposed to have been here, but she's still on her way. Hopefully, she gets here before the end of the show. Tuesdays are all about surviving and thriving on the Hump Day E-Vibes. So get to work, stay productive, and stay winning. If you're wondering where TT and Mary are, well, they're somewhere in the kitchen trying to see, they're sipping on their cup of tea, Zobo drink.
I cannot get over the Hump Day Eve you said.
Hump Day Eve.
I mean,
Hump Day Eve.
And I should say that the opening shot, you looked like a red rose in the middle of all that beauty.
Oh my
You look
gosh,
really good.
oh my God.
You look really good. My goodness.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just finally realized that red is one of my favorite colors.
Nice.
It makes me glow and it complements my skin. I absolutely love it.
It does.
And I've also noticed, Mary, that florals look good on you.
Really, they do?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Florals look good on you, actually.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
But Mary, red also means danger.
So you're running away from MM.
But
wow.
you
Nice
look
one,
so
Titi.
sweet.
Nice one. All right.
Dangerous woman.
My name is Email Koche. Remember that you can be part of the conversation. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all our social media platforms to connect with us in real time. Don't forget, you can also watch us live anywhere in the world via our mobile app on Google Play Store or iOS. We're also live on GOTV channel 16 and UHF channel 49. You can also watch us live on YouTube at TVC Entertainment. Now let's dive right into what we have the second half for you. Of course, well, Chef Shamaka might join us hopefully soon, but well, if she doesn't, we still have quite an interesting conversation later on with Tosing Adi. She's a Nigerian actor, director, producer, and co-partner of B-Rated Productions. She just recently concluded her recent project, Therapy. Pretty excited about that one because I feel like it just came right in time to celebrate the International Women's Month, of course, which we're still reeling about. So stay tuned to catch her on the couch later on. Super excited about the show this morning. I hope you are as well. Let's check out the weather for today. Is it going to be blazing hot? All the way? Are we going to experience rain to just, take all that heat away? Let's find out.
It's time for another news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Titilayo Oyinson here. Now, the political crisis in Rivers State has taken a new turn as the House of Assembly issues notice of gross misconduct against Governor Fubara and the Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu. This latest move is perceived as a significant step in the speculated efforts by aggrieved lawmakers to initiate impeachment proceedings against the governor. Details come in this report.
The power tussle between the legislature and the executive is showing no sign of abating as the House seems to have been pushed to its limit. Speaker Martin Amehule read on the floor of the House a notice sent to him from 26 lawmakers containing allegations of gross misconduct against the governor. Among the listed infractions are unauthorized expenditure of state funds without an appropriation law and deliberate obstruction of the House of Assembly from executing its legislative duties. With lawmakers resolute in their intention to investigate and act on these allegations, Governor Siminalayi Fubara faces yet another challenge to completing his first term in office.
With reference to acts of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSS-RS, distinguished colleagues, I informed you that I received this particular document and that I have forwarded same to all members in line with Section 188, Sub 3, which makes it mandatory for me to forward the document to all members, and I've sent all copies.
Other indictments contained in the notice are the appointment of government officials without satisfying the constitutional requirements of screening and confirmation by the House of Assembly. The lawmakers listed the seizure of their salaries and that of the clerk of the House. They resolved to convey the notices to the government house through the media due to a breakdown in communication between both arms of government.
This House has therefore resolved that the clerk will publish in at least 3 national dailies the notice of allegations of gross misconduct brought pursuant to Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended 1999 in reference to acts of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the governor by His Excellency Sasimla Yofubara, GSSRS, Governor of Rivers State.
In a related development, the House, through a unanimous resolution, petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate the Secretary to the State Government, Tami Danagogo, over allegations of unauthorized spending of state funds.
The High Court of Lagos State has reserved judgment in the suit filed by the reinstated Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, who is challenging the legality of 13th of January 2025, proceeding that led to his initial removal. Justice Yetunde Pinero also heard several preliminary objections by various counsel representing the defendants, and set the date to deliver the judgment, and the rulings will be communicated to parties in due course. Professor Joshua Olatoke SAN, who represents the claimant, Mr. Obasa, prayed the court to assume jurisdiction to hear the matter. He argues that the House was on recess at the time the lawmakers convened illegally, without duly informing either the Speaker or the Majority Leader, who have the powers to reconvene any session during the recess. But Femi Falana SAN, whose legal authority to represent the House of Assembly was earlier affirmed by the court on Monday, opposed the suit brought by way of originating summons. He said the later proceedings, 3rd of March, which saw the re-election of Mr. Obasa as Speaker, had overtaken the earlier proceedings. And now for a sports update. 6 more players arrived the camp of the Super Eagles on Monday night to increase the number of players in camp to 12. Simon Moses, Victor Boniface, Raphael Onyedika, Jordan Tomraga, Stanley Mwabali, Samuel Chukwueze were the new arrivals. Now, the players were received personally by the head coach, Eric Chelle, and members of the technical crew, Bright Osai Samuel and Igo Ogbu, were among the players expected to hit the camp in Kigali by midnight. As head coach, Eric Chelle looks to kick off the first training session with the entire squad today. The Super Eagles will be up against Amavubi in Match Day 5 encounter at the Amahoro Stadium on Friday.
I was surprised. I felt very honored to be mentioned amongst the, was it 31? Yeah, I think 31 players. It was quite surprising. I mean, I knew it was coming because, I mean, I've been doing pretty well and I was hoping it would come. and it did come, and I felt like a winner already, even if I already had it at the back of my mind, even if I didn't get to make the final 23, that I've done something, I've achieved something. And being in the final 23 also was, yeah, I just felt really blessed and I was very grateful. It means a lot. It's one of the best things that can happen to a football player, getting the opportunity to represent your country, to play. I mean, as a kid, you always watched
Lionel Messi was not included in Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni's squad for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Uruguay and Brazil, with the forward missing out due to a muscle strain. Messi scored a stunning goal in the Inter Miami's 2-1 win at Atlanta United in Major League Soccer on Sunday, but felt a muscle discomfort. As a consequence, the 37-year-old was left out of the Argentina squad on Monday and will remain in the United States to recover. Argentina, who lead the CONMEBOL qualifying standings with 25 points after 12 games, traveled to second-placed Uruguay on Friday. Then they host a Brazil side on 25th of March without forward Neymar, who was set to make his return to the national team after more than a year, but has been ruled out after sustaining a muscle injury. Belgian goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois joined up with his national team for the first time in 22 months on Monday, ending his self-imposed exile in a return which has met with criticism of former internationals. Courtois has not played for Belgium since June 2023, when he had a spat with the team's coach, Domenico Tedesco, who, over captaincy, said he's returning after the sacking of Tedesco and appointment in January of Rudy Garcia to replace him. Koen Casteels, who has been Belgium's regular goalkeeper over the last 2 years, has quit the national team in protest, and other teammates have offered veiled criticism of the Real Madrid's goalkeeper's stay away. The 32-year-old is expected to address the media this Tuesday, but his return to the side has not sat well with former coach Mark Wilmots, under whom Courtois earned 41 caps between 2012 and 2016. That's all we can take on news and sports for Wake Up Nigeria for today, but we have quite a bit more coming your way on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's
I
all
can
we can
Nigeria,
take.
but I choose to
Ejeki,
stay.
close the show, G Fadala.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, number one unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question. Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to us? What is his name?
That woman.
Damn! Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned to TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join.
Okay. Now, when you hear that sound, you know it's time for us to have another conversation. Yeah?
Oh yeah, give us the gist now. Because you are the one who's always giving us the dish hot.
You have the
Apparently, you team seem to have the tea on this one.
What's the tea?
Okay,
See, don't mind MM is the one with the gist. But basically, what we want to talk about right now has to do with people's treatment of their parents in old age. On the one hand, we saw a video of an elderly man who was gagged and also tied, allegedly by his wife and children, who then took over his properties because they weren't pleased, according to the reports, that he did not hand over his retirement benefits to them. All of it, because he did some stuff for them, but they wanted all of it. And so he was gagged and tied, and then they took off, leaving him and all. On the other hand, there's also the trending story of Ashake and his dad. Ashake insists that he still sends funds home every now and then. However, somebody got his dad recorded and then the person was talking about how he abandoned his dad, who has always been there for him since 2022. And Ashake is insisting, I have been carrying out my responsibilities. And so there have been talks online about people taking care of how people are being treated in old age and whether parents should be dependent on their children. Now, before you guys give your opinion, let me just make this clear. As far as I am concerned, my parents are not entitled to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 70% of what I have. They're entitled to anything I have. I mean, I know what my parents went through to bring me up. So if they decide today that, listen, your entire worth, which isn't much for now, bring it to us. Believe me, I'm going to give them everything. That's me, so I've established that.
So it does depend on the relationship you've always had with your parents. There are some parents who sadly, some people could say should not have even been parents. They were parents because they were obligated to get married and have children because their parents told them that's the next stage of their life. Not because they truly wanted to or they truly understood what parenting
was about. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I understand that. I don't. My parents did everything in their power to push me to where I needed to be. However, there is a limit to the amount of entitlement we should expect. Times have changed. It's not like before when it was actually easy to shell out large amounts of money on the regular to every extended family member. Because yes, you might be giving your mom and dad today, but guess what? Your mom and dad are giving it to your cousins. They're giving it to their brothers, their friends. And if you're in a position like Ashake, for instance, the whole world believes that because you are the second or third cousin to Ashake, you should be a multimillionaire by now.
Apparently.
So that entitlement mentality really needs to be nipped in the bud. It does. It really does. It actually feels painful at a point. Because you're Ashake's second cousin, you should be going to Oxford.
Red Rose is about to speak. Oh, dramatic.
You know, there's so many angles to this conversation, and that's because it's very much relatable across the board. The Ashake situation sort of, birthed a wide array of conversations on Twitter. As a matter of fact, it trended through the weekend. And it brought to the fore what people have gone through in the hands of their parents.
And in the hands of their children too.
Those who were abandoned at an early age, those who were left in the bush as babies. People started telling their stories, and it just helped us see things from different angles when it comes to how much you should care for your parents as you grow older. But let's also go back to who we are as Africans. We're religious culture. Yeah. Based on culture, based on religion. And the Bible tells us to honor your father and your mother so that your days will be long. I'm not going to tell you what to do, if you've been in a situation where you have been abandoned as a child, because it can be traumatic. It can be traumatizing. It's a situation nobody wants to be, in. So whatever you decide to do, if you eventually meet with your parents and, whatever happens, that's totally up to you. But then there's a place of forgiveness.
Sure. I'm trying to just, create different scenarios. So for instance, yes, Ashake is a star now. He's doing amazingly well. He's internationally known. But what if, hypothetically, there were some cases where his father didn't actually want him to do this music thing?
Is that reportedly supported?
Yes, but that's what they will say now.
Of his being.
It's something
that has actually been in the news.
We were not there
as well.
Yeah,
but
there's been Ashake. There's been, before Ashake, there was Mobad.
Yeah.
And Mobad's situation has been lingering with his father for a year now and more than a year. Conversations around, parents being entitled to their children's wealth.
It's a choice.
See, you know something.
It becomes a choice.
I know you said it's a choice now.
Choice.
However, I believe it's a choice based on who you are. I've always detested the addition of entitlement and parents. I just feel while growing up, when you ask your parents for stuff, they do everything within their capability to provide for you. Now that you are grown and you're supposed to support them, because that is my belief. I believe that life is in stages. At one point, you are the baby. At the other side of it, your parents become the babies who need to be cared for by you. Some people might say that parents should also prepare for their old age.
However, that's where I'm going.
Some parents invest all they have in their children. So what is there to use to prepare for that old age? See, parents are different too. Parents are different. And so we cannot deny the fact that parents are different.
I know.
However, it is left to you as an individual to decide if your parents are feeling entitled or if it's your own decision to give them the best of yourself.
If you give so much to your extended family, to your parents, that you don't have enough to invest in yourself, aren't you putting yourself in the same situation to burden your own children later on?
Let me quickly say this, right? In this whether your parents have been there for you or not, whether they have made sacrifices for you or not, right? As a human being, right, do what you can. There are blessings that's equivalent to blessing your parents. It's not whether it's a no-brainer, right? It's the law of the universe, right? Do what you can for your parents when you can, whether they have made those sacrifices for you or not. Let's try to extend that grace, that kindness, compassion
that one of whether
to
if
them.
you did not extend, I beg you.
What did you say?
There are some parents that did not try at all.
Like that's why I said it's personal. Whatever you decide to do, right? Whatever you decide to do, and let's not also forget that if our parents knew better, maybe they would have done better. But if you've been in a position where you have been exposed and you are aware of who you are and what you are, then you would do better. You wouldn't hold your because your parents did not do it. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it.
At this point, we're going to throw it to you out there and hear your thoughts. Use our hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC and tag us Wake Up Nigeria TVCE with your comments. Let's take a quick break, guys. We'll be back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical. You be like person without budget.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take.
I choose to stay.
Close the show, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked.
You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person that used to sus? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
And so we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for Pure Entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.
It's time for us to have a conversation with Tosing Adi this morning on Wake Up Nigeria. She is a Nigerian actor, director, producer, and co-partner of B-Rated Productions. Her directorial debut, titled The X Chromosomes, was staged at Terra Culture in 2021. In 2024, she became the festival producer for the Lagos Theatre Festival. Other credits include television series, films, audiobooks, and theatre productions such as House of Ga, Tokumbo, Osamide, My Father's Shadow, Between Worlds, Mamma Mia, the musical, that is, amongst others. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
So every time I see Mamma Mia, I don't know, it just, the ABBA song just comes into my mind. Was it something similar?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Same thing.
The Nigerian version?
Nigerian version.
Was it the same story?
Same story. And funny thing is, you can't even bring in like external music. You have to use their backing track.
Yeah, because their backing track was actually the entire story.
Yeah. So,
oh, my.
Yeah, same thing.
I wonder how that went.
Taxing, but yeah.
Especially with the fact that the child has 3 dads. Was it 3 or 4?
Well,
really interesting story, that Mamma Mia. Wow, okay. That really caught my eye. Well, your work is something that has evolved over the years. But how did you begin?
Did I begin? I started really early, as a child. I think I've always known that I wanted to do performance.
Okay.
Yeah, because I joined the choir in church at 8 years old.
Nice.
You know, so I started from singing actually. So fast forward to secondary school, university, I studied theater arts. So that's literally how it began.
So, of course, for you to have studied theater arts, it means that you had a purpose, you had a mission. And it's always admirable when people know exactly what it is they want to do and they're focused on it. Now, since you graduated till now, what has the journey been like? Did you have to flounder, or has it been smooth mostly?
I didn't flounder. Like you said, there's a purpose, you know. I know that I want to perform. I know that I want to act, you know. I know that I want to produce. I know that I want to direct. So in whatever form, you know, I can tell stories, I will use that. So it's not been smooth, but it's been good. It's been good. I say I'm fortunate, you know. But it's been good. It's been interesting. Like you said, there's growth. I'm not where I was 5 years ago. I'm not where I was 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
So it's been good. It's not been smooth, but it's been good. And we're getting there. We're building the blocks.
You seem to have a passion for stage plays. And even recently, you had one, Therapy.
Yeah.
Tell us more about Therapy. Was it one-woman stage play?
One-woman play,
Please tell me
yes.
more about it.
Okay, so Therapy was created by Oladotun Olagbadibo. It's a collaboration between us friends, myself, Dotun, Imo Ebo, and Joy Umezi. All female cast and crew. So it's a one-woman play. Dotun wrote it and produced it, like I said. And it literally was done in commemoration of Women's Month. Like
Which
I
is
said,
what we're in.
Yes, exactly. And we just did that as part of the J. Randall residency this weekend that passed. And it was a success. You know, we talked about everything, female experiences, parenting, the boy child. And it was just really good to see how much people resonated with the stories, the monologues that we used in the story. It was interesting to see people resonate with that and people, you know, take lessons back home. So it was a success.
That takes me back to your first directorial debut. That's the X Chromosomes.
Yes.
You seem to have a thing for women, anything that has to do with women.
Oh, well, the funny thing is, it is coincidental, to be honest. Truly, it's coincidental. I didn't think that X chromosomes would be my first, and therapy would be my second, you know, directing on stage. It just happened like that. I do have a thing for women. I'm a woman, yeah.
Of course.
But I think it's coincidental, and it probably is for a reason, you know. X chromosomes was also similar, you know, all things women, talking about everything from sex to relationships to everything, you know, and therapy goes along the, you know, the same line. So yeah.
So I'm quite curious about what projects you have at hand. Are you working? There's no need to ask you that. I know quite well that you are working on something. What are you working on right now?
At the moment, I'm rehearsing for a musical, Firestarter, the musical. It's happening at Terra Culture on the 13th of April, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's a musical put together by Shola Amaraibi. It's all about poetry, dance, music. You know, it's directed by Kenneth Uhoho. I also have a show showing currently on Showmax, Between Worlds. Stars myself, Femi Branch, and so many other, you know, actors. I have 2 films that will be showing at the Cannes Festival this year.
Well, that's great stuff.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Yeah.
That's a showing on the TV. That's Between Worlds.
Oh yeah, that's Between Worlds. Yes.
Look at you looking off. Feminine in quotes.
Thank you.
Nice. That's really nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you were talking about the
festival.
Cannes
Festival. I have 2 films.
Okay. What films are those?
Well, one is My Father's Shadow.
Okay.
Yes, and another is one that we shot last year in September. Yes, I'm sure the release is going to come soon to the screens. Yes, I acted in both. Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to be featured this year.
Yes.
All right. So what do we expect from you, Tosing?
I'd say more inspiring projects. I'm looking forward to more challenging and inspiring projects, and I'm hoping the universe hears me and brings that my way. You know, so for every project I'm on, you guys will get the best of me, and not just acting, production, producing, directing, production, managing. So just the best.
A lot of females are interested in the entertainment industry. However, navigating through those murky waters can be quite tough for them, of which some of them eventually, in quotes, drop off the way. What would you say has helped you throughout this period?
That's an interesting question. And because you said this period, that made me, you know, think, because you know, like you said, I have a thing for stage plays. So theater is my background, right? So I would start by saying it's even harder for those in theater. You know, I have kind of crossed over into film and TV as well, but it's harder for those in theater. So in this period where there are not many stage plays, you know, happening, people may not have jobs, you know, so what keeps me going is just trying to better myself. So even when I don't have a job, I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly creating. So I have something else that I do. It's called Love Letters. So I just write poetry and perform it, you know, and I have a page for that. So I think as creatives, something that we can do when we don't have work, you know, is to put out what we have. So if it's doing monologues, you know, if it's reenacting scenes that you have seen, you know, you can be doing that. And somebody will come along the way and see that and say, oh, I want this person, you know, in my project. So what keeps me going is the mindset that I'm going somewhere. I'm not there yet. And I need to keep working. You know, I want to get to a place where I can impact thousands and millions of people, and I'm not there yet. So that's what keeps me going, that mindset.
So it does seem like these days it's important to have something else to support? Yeah, just so you can stay afloat.
Yeah.
Have you been able to cope with that?
To be honest, I'm still looking for that something else. But so my kind of person, I don't just want to do something because people are doing it. I want to find that thing, that something else. I don't mind doing something else to support this. But for now, this is paying my bills. And I'm grateful for that. Not many people have that I call it a privilege.
Yeah,
not many
to be
people
able
are
to do
that
something
fortunate.
they love and still get paid
yes,
for it.
not many people are that fortunate. So I don't have anything else that I do apart from performing and everything related to performing. But I am still looking for that something else. But if you do have something else, please keep at it. But don't leave your creative side. It keeps the juices flowing.
What kind of music do you like?
Oh, I like all sorts of music. I like R&B. I like rock. I like Afrobeat. I like soul. I like so many kinds of music. I like good sound. So if it's something that resonates, it may be different, but I dig that.
Nice, nice. I like the fact, I like it when people have a wide range when it comes to music, because music is an art itself it just takes you away, so to speak. It's been quite an interesting conversation, Tosing Adi.
Thank you so much.
It's been quite an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for your time, getting to know you better, and of course knowing what you're up to and what to expect from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we have a music performance, of course, by Queen Rashidat. She has a performance for us right now. Thank you so much for watching.
Àjíkẹ́, ọ̀rẹ́ inú oṣù yìí.